3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, August 13th, 2018. Thanks for coming by. I hope you're enjoying your Monday so far. Obviously, a volatile start to the week. No surprise there. Litecoin down a good amount today. Bitcoin holding strong, it seems. Down a little bit. But I want to talk about that. Let's jump into the markets real quick, and let's start by going over a piece of news I just thought was interesting. Winklevoss undeterred by Wall Street's slow embrace of crypto. And this story really just pretty much plays into the sentiment aspect of the markets. Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss aren't licking their wounds after the Securities and Exchange Commission rejected their proposal for a Bitcoin-based exchange-traded fund last week for a second time. The twin brothers who operate the Gemini Trust Company exchange say they're continuing to grow the business even though most large Wall Street investors aren't on board yet. Wall Street is taking cryptocurrency seriously. However, the vast majority of Wall Street firms are still not participating in the cryptocurrency market, which remains primarily a retail-driven market, said Tyler Winklevoss, who serves as chief executive of Gemini. This will change over time, but it will take time. And that's kind of why I wanted to read this article. That's a very good point. This will take time. If you want quick gains, you're probably in the wrong market and you're going to go crazy. Many institutional investors are likely to stay on the sidelines until regulators, including the SEC, clarify their position on key questions involving coins and allow additional financial instruments to enter the market. Gemini and CBOE Global Markets launched Bitcoin futures contracts last year and worked together on the fund proposal, and ETF approval would have opened the volatile cryptocurrency market up to pension funds and other large investors. Obviously, everybody was looking forward to seeing what the decision was on that, and obviously got declined. But I also wanted to pivot that article over to a tweet by Joseph Young, who I often recommend you go follow on Twitter if you're on Twitter. He said, "One positive from today's steep crypto drop. All bad coins and projects will get filtered, and similar to 2014, most of the crypto in existence will die out." As Balaji said, "The market has always gone through a bubble, crash, build, rally pattern. This time's no different." And need to like that. But it's so true, right? This is a season for weeding out the junk, weeding out the coins that are just ridiculous. And it's a very important part of the process. And this process, right, of a bubble, crash, build, rally pattern. Bitcoin's been following it, like Joseph says, and it's probably going to continue following that pattern. So right now, if we look at the charts, nothing really new. It looks crazy. It's volatile. And I think if you read a lot of people that have been in cryptocurrency for years now, they're especially unfazed by this move in Bitcoin. A lot of people that are fazed by this move are people that kind of entered into the market, around November, December, even January, right? And they're expecting just this continued crazy uptrend that we had in 2017. Maybe not aware of these bear market trends, these corrections that are necessary in Bitcoin markets. And so I think a lot of people are learning that right now. So a lot of wisdom is being gained right now. So where are we from a technical analysis standpoint? And I think now's a good time in this video, a few minutes in, to talk about that. We did a video yesterday. We talked about this reverse head and shoulders on the weekly, and right now I'm on the daily chart. But you can get a sense for it on the daily. You can see possible left shoulder, possible head, and now possible right shoulder information. If we get a bounce up, that would be a reverse head and shoulders. And I'm not really going to talk about that too much. What I want to talk about is really just a couple simple things in terms of Bitcoin, and obviously I know we have a lot of Litecoin viewers, so we'll touch on that as well. So look at the stock RSI first off. You have this upward momentum bouncing off of this, and we were watching the stock RSI. We were down here for like a week, very, very oversold. Well, since then we've gotten some momentum up on the stock RSI. So Bitcoin on the daily, well positioned for a bounce. So really, I think what the market is wondering is, are we going to get a bounce here and form this new higher low on Bitcoin from this previous low, which would be extremely, extremely positive. And that's more of an optimistic move. Or are we going to break down, right, and finally see a new lower low? And that's really the two scenarios, right? Nobody knows what's going to happen. From a technical analysis standpoint, right now Bitcoin might see a nice little bounce. However, if we dig in deeper, right, on the daily, and we kind of zoom in a little bit, there's a couple things going on that I do want to point out. Number one is, if you remember in these downtrends that we have, right, we get these bounces, right? We get these bounces in this downtrend, and oftentimes the market reacts very optimistically and hopefully, and you see it on social media when we get these little bottoms and then even these bounces, 10-15% bounces. But it's not the end of the downtrend, and that's why right now, in terms of where I am, I'm most prepared for a continued downtrend. I'm most prepared right now for a new lower low, because the accumulation opportunity is down there, is if we break support, is if this channel that we are in right now, right here, is just a continued consolidation in this continued downtrend, similar to this right here, in this continued downtrend, right? So, and we get these often in these downtrends. So instead of trying to find a bottom, the best thing to do is to prepare for a bottom, because two things. Number one, Bitcoin accumulation anywhere below this previous low is awesome, in my opinion, if you're long on Bitcoin. So that's why I'm preparing there. But if I pivot over to Litecoin right now, I want to point something really important out, because Litecoin, from an accumulation standpoint, even stronger, in my opinion, than Bitcoin because of this. Right now, Litecoin is, from the daily 50 EMA, Litecoin is 30% overextended. So if you've been watching our videos, we really have talked about, from historical data, anytime Litecoin is 25, 30% overextended, Litecoin has seen a very positive bounce off of those areas. So in terms of accumulation, right, if Bitcoin forms a new lower low and actually continues going down, right now Bitcoin is only, let's see how overextended it is from the daily on the 50 EMA. Right now it's only overextended around 10%. Litecoin's overextended from the 50 EMA 25%. So if Bitcoin actually forms a new lower low, right, and actually hits maybe 5,000 for a lower low, which would be pretty synergistic with this downward trend, it would hit right around that downward trend of support that we have, right? If we draw our trend line of these lows, you know, we'd be right in that channel. And if Bitcoin does that, Litecoin most likely will continue going down even further than this 25 or 30% overextended. If Bitcoin hits $5,000, Litecoin's going to go down a lot, most likely, right? And we know this because that's what Litecoin does, especially when Bitcoin's going down. Litecoin's even more volatile, more aggressive. So if Litecoin goes down in that scenario, the amount of oversold and overextended that Litecoin's going to have in that scenario is crazy, and that area is going to be such a strong area of accumulation down here if this happens. And that's really what I'm most prepared for right now. I'd be extremely happy and optimistic if we get a bounce off these areas, right? And if $56 right now where Litecoin is, $55, if that was the low and we bounce off here and never see these prices again, I'd be extremely happy. And it's something to anticipate and be ready for. But it's very, very important to be ready for. Get rid of the emotion. Get rid of the, I hope this is the bottom thought. But prepare yourself if we go down, and really analyze the amount of opportunity that exists down there. Because to tie it all back together, the Winklevoss twins, they're saying this will change over time, but it will take time, right? So it's a great point. Time. This whole thing is taking time, and this whole correction is taking time. So if you can utilize patience and you can accumulate the dips, when it does pay off, when it does change over time in the future, if you're long, on Bitcoin and Litecoin, it's going to pay dividends. And then obviously we can also tie it back around by just saying, looking at this tweet by Joseph Young, the market has always gone through a bubble, crash, build, rally. So let the crash, let this bear market play out. Let us, even trade sideways for a while if we need to after Bitcoin finds its bottom. But I think the best thing you can do right now, instead of just sitting back and hoping, is preparing for further dip in the market, because it's an incredible opportunity in my opinion. So I just wanted to put my opinion out there in terms of what we're looking at on the charts, where we are, and where the market might be headed next. I think it's important to be prepared mentally for these things, because this is a mental game. And those are my thoughts. I appreciate you coming by on this Monday. Let's see what happens if the markets move a little bit today. Might do a live stream tonight depending on what they do. But wanted to give this little update for you starting this week. I hope you have an awesome day, an awesome Monday, and an awesome week ahead. As always, I will see you in the next video, and God bless.